What's going on? It's your boy Hayes, aka CEO Hayes, aka the Red Bearded Assassin, and I am the host of the Awaken Soul podcast. What is the Awaken Soul? Well, it's a weekly podcast that offers an insightful and vivifying look at music, movies, media, and social issues and how they relate to our culture. Overall, the Awaken Soul is a snapshot of what our culture is, what it could be, and a little bit of everything in between. Make sure you tuned in to the Awaken Soul podcast on every podcasting platform, as well as YouTube. You can also reach out to me at theawakensoulpod@gmail.com. You can also follow me personally at CEO Hayes, that's CEOHAIZE. You can follow the podcast at Awaken Soul Pod. I'll see you guys there. Peace.
One of these, it'll all be over.
What are you listening to?
The Get to Know podcast.
You're listening to the Get to Know
Podcast.
What's happening, guys? This is Liam, and you're locked into the Get to Know podcast. If you're listening right now, big up yourself. I appreciate you. Shout out to the first and last time listeners. Shout out to the following on social media. And also big up to the international listeners. I checked the stats and man's global out here. Japan, Canada, America, Romania, Paraguay, and more. So shout out to you, man. Also want to give a shout out to all the guests that have been on so far. Obviously, when it's a new platform and people don't know what to expect, you know, I can understand a sort of apprehension. So a special shout out to those people, especially the people that I didn't know personally, but agreed to come on. Speaking of guests, you should check out the video to Iman Lake's latest single, For the Birds. Yeah, single's been out for a while, but the video's just dropped, and that is sick, man, honestly. But yeah, man, on to today's guest. His latest single was retweeted onto my timeline, and I checked out the song, and I liked his vibe, and I thought, I need to get this guy on, man. So I reached out, and funnily enough, after I reached out to him, he was like, oh, I was just listening to the episode with Iman. Shout outs for that. But yeah, man, proper sound guy. It was really easy to get, you know, the episode scheduled and recorded, and it was really good vibes. I properly enjoyed this one. So this is Dualeh Oke. Alright, so it's the Get to Know podcast, and I am joined by Dualeh Oke. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. Thanks for having me here, man.
Mate, thanks for coming on, man. Like, I'm really looking forward to this. Ever since I seen you first appear on the timeline, I knew I had to get you on, so big love for coming on.
No, appreciate that, bro.
Respect, man. So, new year, new lockdown. How's it been for you so far?
Yeah, you know what? I feel like after the first one, I'm kind of a bit more adjusted to this one. Like that first month of the last lockdown, I felt like that was like a unique time in history. Whereas now, we kind of already did that. I already know what the vibe is like, and like creatively, I feel like I was very productive in the last one. Not as much so in this time around, but I'm trying to get back into the swing of it. It's still quite new and fresh. Like we've only been in it in about 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm trying to get back into the groove of things. But yeah, it's forced me to kind of be like, what excuse is there? You know what I mean? Like outside, there's no social. You might as well just write. You might as well just make music. So it's been a mixed process for me. So yeah. How about yourself, bro? Like,
yeah, man. To be honest, I'm finding it all right, man. I'm pretty chilled, really, pretty laid back. The only thing I'm really missing is gym, to be honest. But other than that
part, yeah. Or for me, it was football.
Football. Oh yeah, when there's no Premier League on.
Yeah, that was sagging. I was pissed. And even just kicking ball, like even if it's just like five-a-side, whatever, I do like futsal, like indoor football.
Oh, swear.
But yeah. So I just need that. You know, when you just have that release. Like I need
Yeah.
that. Like, but other than that, man, I've been good. Like we're alive, we're well, we're healthy. You know what I'm saying? Alhamdulillah, I'm all right, man.
Good, man. So why do you think you haven't been as creative in this lockdown compared to the first?
I feel like because they kind of prepped us like, I didn't expect it to be like another long national lockdown. I thought maybe we're going for a bit, come out. So it's been too stop and starty for me. I feel like whereas the last lockdown we were just in it for like a while. So by then I feel like I'm a kind of person that needs routine. Like if I get into a good routine. Because I'm a bit dysfunctional as a human being. I'm all over the place. Once I get into a nice routine where I can be dysfunctional in an organized way, I feel like that's when I'm the most creative. Whereas now it's kind of been like, oh yeah, we'll let you out. Oh, we'll put you back in. Oh, we'll let you out. We'll put you back in. So I think maybe by the time we get to February, I'll be able to get back into my groove of, where it's like I'm just going to be making music and just doing. And if it's not music, then it'll be like creative direction stuff, directing, like other means to be creative. But yeah, I think that's just it. It's just too stop and starty. Like me, I'm the kind of guy when it comes to football, I don't like half time. 90 minutes all the way through. You know what I mean?
Oh, sick. All right, Ro. So we're gonna go into the quick fire round. So I'm gonna give you a series of questions with two options, and you just give me the option that you prefer. All right.
Cool.
First one: English or maths?
English.
Should have known.
Go with that straight. Yeah.
Messi or Ronaldo?
I'm gonna go Ronaldo. I'm a Man United fan, so watch them grow up.
I hear that. Films or TV series?
Films, definitely.
Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
Cats or dogs?
Cat.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
Kanye West or Jay-Z?
I'll go Kanye.
Biggie or Tupac?
Tupac.
Spider-Man or Batman?
Spider-Man. Batman's a billionaire. Don't give peace to the people.
Instagram or Twitter?
Twitter.
Winter or summer?
Summer.
Nice. New one. What is your favorite holiday destination?
It's not I'd say it's just Toronto. I'll be honest. That's my favorite place. That's the place I've gone to the most out of all the places. So I'd say that's my favorite.
How many times you been there?
Maybe like 5.
Okay.
5 now.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's the place I go back to the most, I'd say.
Sick. All right, man. So to get into things, I know that you were born in Holland and you moved to the UK age 7. So can you talk to me a little bit about growing up and what it was like moving to a new country at such a young age?
Yeah, it was. I felt like it was a bit odd because when you move to another country, you like in ends we call it like, oh, you're fresh. Like you have your fresh phase. I had it really really early, so I got to pick up the language really really quickly. But it was weird. I'm not gonna lie to you, like adjusting like straight away, like. But in terms of culturally, like obviously Netherlands is a European country. It's not too much different. It's not like I came from like another continent like Africa or Asia or something like that. So it was all right. And because like I said, like I got to adjust really young. By the time I got to maybe like 10, 11, 12, like I'm already assimilated in London culture and what's going on over here.
And so did you move straight to Newham from Holland?
No, first place I moved to actually was North London. Was like Turnpike Lane, like around them sides. And my grandma lived there. And so when we moved to the UK, London, like my grandma was already living here. All her kids were already living here. So that was like the family that we'd go and visit. It was like North London, so my early memories of London is like Turnpike Lane, Tottenham. So I got a lot of love for North London just for that. But by the area that I grew up in after that was pretty much Newham. I came here maybe age 9, and then I'd stayed here ever since. So yeah, and every house that I moved to growing up is in, now that I'm looking back, is in like a 1 mile radius, because like it's in Newham. Newham is not that big. When you're a little kid, it feels big, but looking back, I'm like, oh right, I lived here, and here. That's very close. So yeah, from North London, I moved to East, specifically Newham, and yeah, that's pretty much where I grew up. Canning Town in Newham.
Okay. So what was it like growing up there? Because I lived in Stratford from 2015 to 2018. But people would say, Stratford wasn't always like this. So what was it? What was your experience of it?
Okay, yeah, no, it was a lot. Even Canning Town now, it's like they've fixed it up a lot, like to the point where it's kind of similar to like Stratford International, like where it's a bit gentrified. Whereas when I was growing up, specifically when I first came, like secondary school, it was like a really, really rough area. Like Newham in general, but Canning Town, Custom House, specifically was really, really rough. There was a lot of knife crime, gangs. It was like, yeah, like I remember the first day we moved into this house in Canning Town, like we put bikes in the back, thinking it's a garden, of course you put the bikes in the back. The same day the bikes were gone. So that just to give you kind of like we're like, okay, this place is different. I'll give you another random anecdote. Yeah, it was when we moved into our first house in Newham, we turned on the TV and our corner shop was on Crime Watch. And we're like, wow, like, is this where we moved? Is this where we've come to? Do you know what I mean? So, but for me, it was a sick experience growing up. I can't lie. Like I said to you, I played football. So we had a local cage in Canning Town, Mayflower Cage. So everybody in the whole area would link up, would all play football there. So you pretty much knew, like, the people that were on gang shit, you knew them. The people that were going uni or whatever, like, you knew them. Everybody kind of assimilated and was like friends, if not were like associates. Do you know what I'm saying? So it'd be like, you'd be walking through ends, you'd be like, who's that? Oh, hey, that's Dualeh. Oh yeah, what are you saying? Do you know what I mean? So it was really like, I feel like football, if there was no football, it would be really, really sticky for a lot of people, I'd say. But yeah, for me, that was probably my most cherished moments growing up, was that cage and how it brought everyone together. So yeah, no complaints. I'm alive. I'm not in jail. So yeah, it was a good experience growing up still.
Nice. So how did you discover your passion for writing?
You know what, actually, like as young as I can say, maybe I want to say like 8 years old, like I used to write like in, like the exercise books, like from school. Like I'd either take them or ask my mom to buy them, and then I just write like stories. I rewrite, like, let's say Spider-Man, for example. I'd make like Spider-Man in East London version, like, and I'll write like a story like that. Or I'd like my favorite games or whatever. It was usually rewriting. Instead of doing original stories, I'd rewrite like things that I like, and I'd add new characters. Like I'd add me in the story or something like that. So that was from as young as 8, and then that just carried on up until secondary school. Like I love creative writing. Even up until uni. When I went to uni, I did creative English and creative writing at uni. So I just always just been a writer. Like I still, that's even outside of music, like writing, and like even if it's being an author, that's something I want to follow through with. Yeah, so just in general, even when it comes to music, songwriting specifically that's like my passion outside of just everything else. So yeah, that's where it came from, is them exercise books and them story writing days.
Sick. So I know, like, growing up, even before you started taking music seriously, I know that you were inspired by the likes of Kanye West, Odd Future, and Pharrell. Which is funny, because I was listening to your music, and then I was thinking, like, who does this guy remind me of? Like, who am I thinking? And then I thought, I'm getting Odd Future vibes, but am I tripping? And then, like, honestly, a couple of minutes after thinking that, I read the article that where you said that you were influenced by Odd Future, and I was like, okay, I'm not tripping. But
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah, man. So, like, talk to me about what drew you to those artists and how they've influenced you.
I'd say like even growing up, like the artists that I kind of gravitated towards were like the more obscure, like a bit left field, like because how I'd consume music like at a young age obviously was like TV, like MTV Base, all that stuff, and then the music videos that used to catch my eye were always the ones where like Outkast, Andre 3000. I was like, oh, he's so sick, he's so wavy, or like Pharrell and Neptunes, or like even Kanye West, like how he dressed, how he like his image was just a little bit different. And then eventually, like as I got into like my teens and like started going online and blogs and finding my own artists outside of TV, I'd look for like artists like Odd Future, Kendrick, like Kid Cudi, like anybody that I felt like kind of spoke to me in that way, in that regard. And bear in mind as well, this is like all in a period where like UK music is like heavy grime. It's I'm from East London as well, so it's heavy, like I'm hearing it everywhere. But me, I was looking for something like a little bit different. I don't know what it was, but and those artists, specifically Andre 3000 from Outkast, Kanye West, Pharrell, and Lupe Fiasco, I felt like were like the main ones that opened my eyes. And after that, once I found the internet, it was just I just went down a rabbit hole and found all these sick artists. And yeah, definitely Odd Future, definitely Kid Cudi, definitely Kendrick. Yeah, the list is long. But after that, after the doors opened, yeah, they never closed.
Bro, Odd Future, well, I remember when I first discovered them, I was just like, yo, this is sick. Like, the whole vibe is something that I'd never really experienced before, something I'd never really seen. It's like, yeah, it was just something different, man. I loved it, man.
Yeah, no, same. It was definitely a breath of fresh air, I can't lie. Like, and the fact that even after that, like, it gave us Tyler, it gave us Earl, it gave us the internet, like the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Internet outside of Odd Future now are like huge. So yes, it was a nice time. It was definitely a nice time in music. So yeah, man, like that's I felt like what I gravitate towards sonically, artistically. It's just a bit left field, like just something like here's the middle. Like I just want to be like just push towards a little bit towards the obscure. So yeah, and do something that's never been done before. Like I like when people hear my shit and they're like, oh, who does this guy remind me of? Like it's kind of like who. So yeah, no, I appreciate that you felt like that too. So
yeah, of course, man. So, who would you say is your favorite artist from Odd Future?
I'd probably say I'm gonna go with Earl. But Earl is for me is not every album is I love. Like some of it's too dark for me. Like Doris, I loved when he put out Doris. That's still one of my favorite albums ever. But then when he put out what's the one something don't talk shit, don't go outside. I said, hey, this one's too dark for me. Like so it varies. Like but then again, I'd say it could be the internet. It could be Sid the Kid. Like what she's done with the internet is sick. Like every album they put out pretty much I've fucked with. So actually, you know, it might be Sid. I won't even lie. Out of Odd Future. And now looking back, yeah, I'll go with Sid.
And what would you say is your favorite Kanye West album?
Late Registration, easily. That's my shit. That one just speaks to me. Like you got the strings all over it. Like production wise, it's sick. The features, I love the features on it, and it's just like Kanye West before he became like mega superstar, but he wasn't underdog yet. It was like right in the middle. And then after the album, obviously nothing was the same because then he just went on to be like huge. But yeah, I just love all the album cuts on that album. I love. So that's my favorite Kanye West album, and to me it's probably the best. But I'd probably say My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is probably up there as number 1, and Late Registration number 2 as best. But my favorite is Late Registration. Yeah,
fairs. And I remember that same interview that I was reading. So you said that people would be at school asking about the new gigs and they'd be talking about that, but you'd be like, yo, have you heard that new Frank Ocean mixtape?
Yeah.
Are you referring to Nostalgia Ultra?
Yes. That one, when I heard that, I was like, I need to tell everybody and their mom and their dad and their uncle, their nephew. Like, I was like, have you heard this? Have you heard this? And that was pretty much me in like school days, sixth form. I was just like, even now to this day, actually, really, is I'm that guy that like, if I hear something, I'd pass it on to the point where then eventually people would just be like, yo, hey Dualeh, like, hey, bring me in with something, or oh, what do you think about this person? What do you think about that person? Specifically in secondary school, because there wasn't really like people. I feel like people are a bit more lazy in terms of looking for new music. The older you get, the more you kind of want to expand your horizons. Whereas back then, it'd be like, yo, you bring me in. Like, I'm lazy to go and find something. You bring me in. Like, what's sick? So, and I used to like that actually. So, specifically when Nostalgia Ultra came out, and then I was like, yo, like guys, like I'm telling you, this one here, this is the mixtape. Go check this one out. So, and yeah, that one has had a big impact on me. Like songwriting wise, there's no one that's probably influenced me more than Frank Ocean, I'd say.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, that is definitely one of my favorite mixtapes ever. Like, I remember, because Swim Good was like, I remember that was coming on the radio beforehand, and then I ended up checking out the whole tape. And I remember it was the summer before I went to uni, and no, like, I listened to that tape every day, bro. I just, oh, bro.
Yeah. It still rings off to this day.
To this day.
Yeah.
Innit, man. Like, I remember I was looking for it because it's not on Apple Music or Spotify, but I remember I was on my Sonos and like I went on to SoundCloud and like I found all the tracks. I remember adding it specifically to my Sonos just so I could listen to it whenever, man. Like, legendary mixtape that is.
100%. Yeah. So, and actually, you're making me want to go listen to it after this still, but yeah, like I said, he's probably definitely somebody that's influenced me heavy, and my favorite album, one of my favorite albums of all time, is Channel Orange.
Same.
Like, Nostalgia Ultra is a sick mixtape, I fuck with it, but Channel Orange is probably my favorite album ever. So yeah,
I love that.
those two go hand in hand. Yeah.
You're listening to the Get to Know podcast.
So I know that you started taking music seriously after you did a project, your creative project at uni, A Long Walk to the Corner Shop. So talk to me about that experience and then how that led into you taking the music seriously, because I know it got quite a good reception, didn't it?
Yeah. So in uni, because I did English Lit and creative writing, instead of a dissertation for my final year, I got to do like a creative writing project. So it can be whatever you want. It can be a screenplay. It can be it can be an actual play. It can be music. It can be whatever. So I decided to do, at the time I was doing like spoken word. I decided to do a spoken word album like over music, and one of my friends helped me produce it. And then once I showed it to the lady that was like the head of my course. She was my mentor for the project. When I played it to her, she was like, "This is like the best shit ever." Like, she was so mind blown. And to me, I was a bit kind of like, she's like an academic lady. I don't know if she's gonna get it like that. Like, so I played it to her, and she's like, "Yo, this is amazing. Like, you're just an amazing writer." Like, she was proper hailing me as this guy like that people should study. I said, "What? Like me?" And she's like, yeah, you. I want you to carry on. As soon as you finish uni, you need to carry on. So then I uploaded it on SoundCloud. I was like, it's just some random white lady. Maybe she's just gassing me, like. But she ended up giving me a first for it, really. So she was actually passionate about it. So I uploaded it onto SoundCloud. And this one, SoundCloud was actually like, it was a thing. Like, everybody's proper using SoundCloud. So I uploaded on SoundCloud now, and people like were digging it. Like they really liked it. They were hitting me up about it. I don't know why, but this is just how creatives are. I just end up taking it down like maybe after a while, and then people were like, "Yo, like I used to listen to that thing. Like, why'd you take it down?" And I said, "Raw, like were feeling it like that," and they're like, "Yeah." So anyway, fast forward now, I was like, cool, if I'm gonna go into it, because already kind of like the bridge between spoken word and music anyway, like so I was like, if I'm gonna put out music, I'd rather be like let me just go full forward, like artistically. Let me just try and be as um forward thinking. Let me try and push around with my songwriting, with everything. So then I just started like just writing, just coming up with ideas, different things, and I sat on a bunch of music. And just first song that I end up putting out as an artist was a song called Famous, and it's a song that got no chorus. It hasn't even really got a chorus. There's no hook, no structure. It's just kind of like, and it's 4 minutes. Like what could go wrong? So it was just, and it was very experimental, and I put it out, and then people really liked it as well. On SoundCloud it did really well. And then I was like, okay, cool, hey, we're here now, like I'm going to transition into this, like let me go with this. And then yeah, so that's kind of where my transition into a music artist, how it happened. But it was, if that song Famous, I feel like was the perfect transition, because it was just kind of like, yeah, it is what it is. I'm gonna do this now. And then it turned out really, it's still one of my favorite songs. It turned out really nice.
Yeah. No, you need to slow down, you need to leave, for you get your soul back, you can never leave, for falling down my timeline. I like to party every week, yeah, baby go to sleep. Whoa, you moving mad still, you need to chill, caught up in the lifestyle, popping all those pills. Ooh, you took the blue one, you don't know what's real. Do you like D'Angelo, and tell me how it feel? Now who your man, he ain't this, and how you moving nameless, and how you doing stainless, and now you moving famous, and baby girl she tameless, to the bull she painless, spending other people money like niggas ain't shit. Now how you do them like that, and why you moving like that, and why you never show them love, and why you treat them like cap. Okay, you famous now, I mean you aimless now. Bang bang, you shoot them down. Yeah, lay them down. Okay, what you should do is you get lifted now, and we gon' slow this down. Yeah, bang this out. Said she wanna be famous, so I let her be famous, and I might entertain it. If we use imagination, okay, baby, get information. Yeah, let me get behind the camera. Yeah, let me do you like a movie. Park G soon with a stamp. Now who your man, he ain't this, and how she moving ain't this. She used to fuck with district, but now she heard they racist, and now she going overseas. She going.
So you've released Famous. Why did you remove either the spoken word project from SoundCloud?
I couldn't even tell you. I was just young, and I don't know, just like, you know how creatives be sometimes. They're just like, oh no, like nobody will fuck with this, bloop, and then everybody apparently did. So yeah, I got that one wrong. But yeah, that's just in general. I feel like sometimes you just kind of have a wave of self-doubt, and then them, because it was still early on, them times I didn't know how to deal with it. Whereas now it's kind of like you just ride them, and then on Wednesday I'll be feeling myself again. Like it's like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So when you got this good reception, and you thought, all right, let me actually release something new. Did you feel like there was you kind of had to release something quickly whilst you still had a bit of a buzz, or were you actually prepared to take your time when it came to the next release?
No way, I did not, and that's what I liked about like younger me. I did not give a fuck. I was just like, what? Let me take my time. Like even the gap between me releasing Famous and me the spoken word album was maybe like 2 years and a bit. So I wasn't in a rush at all. I was like, okay, I just want to find myself sonically as well. And on top of that, spoken word and being a rapper is completely different. Do you know what I mean? Or even spoken word and songwriting is completely different. So I thought, okay, I want to study. I want to be good at this. Like, let me practice, let me learn cadence. Like just I just a bit of a student just for those 2 years, which is quite nice. So by the time Famous came out, people were like, "Oh, I didn't. You don't sound like you just started doing music." Like people still don't believe me when I tell them, but yeah, it was just because in those 2 years, I was like, I didn't rush. I didn't feel the need to kind of be like, let me put something out so people will forget me. And I just kind of carried on, which is good. And I'm kind of getting back into that swing of things now, which is like, yo, relax. There's no rush. Like, just work on making the best music that you can, and that's it.
So, when you released Famous or when you were making it, did you feel like there was a difference in mentality? Because the poetry album, that was for uni, that was something that you were going to be graded on. Whereas, after that, you're making music because it's just something that you want to do. So, was there any difference in mentality?
No, and that's what's even sicker again, because even though this was for uni, it was like being graded. It was like going into like um, being graded by white academics specifically as well. That haven't really come from where I've come from and the environment that I've come from. Um, Even back then, I was just like, I'm just gonna make this. I want to express myself. I want to say what I want to say. I want to say. I wasn't speaking to them, like if that makes sense. I was speaking to the people that were like me and that looked like me. So even back then, I was now that we're looking back, speaking about this in retrospect, yeah, I was very fearless. I'd say very fearless, and I still am, but even more so back then because you just have that naivety of being young. So plus fearlessness, which is just makes for even more. Um, so yeah, I don't think I did. I was just kind of like I just went into it with just like I want to say what I want to say, and yeah. So and then when Famous came around, it was the same thing. Even with structure, I was like I want to say what I want to say, and anytime whenever I feel like kind of like that self doubt or what should I put out next, even right now I'm deciding between which single I should go with. I always go back into that gut feeling of that fearlessness of just kind of like fuck it man, I want to say this, so I'm saying this. Do you know what I mean? Like so yeah, and Signs and Famous, even though Signs is my latest song and Famous is my first song, there's so much similarities between them because it's just kind of like Signs is just like fuck it, I want to do this, and Famous was that. It's that same feeling. So yeah, the fact that I still have that, I'm really really proud of. So yeah, and that's a good question because it actually I never thought of it until now. Yeah.
Sick. So, I read that you mum is very supportive of your music, but you did come from a strict religious African household. So, did you feel any sort of way about telling your parents, that you wanted to pursue music?
Yeah, no, it was just kind of like I just did it, like to be honest, and then um, it'd come up in conversations here and there, and at the beginning it was kind of like, yeah, like oh, hobby, you know what I'm saying? That's your hobby, like you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, yeah, but then I think after a while, the older you get, this is just to anybody that's listening, the older you get, as long as you kind of like your responsible for me personally, like from my family wise, as long as your responsibilities are taken care of, like you you do what you need to do as like as a man. I feel like everything else, what I do with my time, how I express myself and etc. is that's up to me. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to do something. I don't think anybody can take that away from me. Anybody can stop me from doing that. And as long as like I'm I'm giving my money, like I'm contributing, I'm taking care of people, I'm helping out where I can help out. I feel like it's just kind of like, yeah, he's earned that right to go and do what he needs to do or do what he wants to do. So I think it's got to that. If it was younger days, I feel like younger days when I was younger, it was a bit more daunting and a bit more scarier. Kind of like, because again, I feel like it's more less of family, more like religious kind of um, connotations and things like that. And I'm like, is that put a limit on how I can express myself, etc. But yeah, now the older you get, you kind of learn how to balance and deal with things. So now it's a bit more chill. Like I said, is as long as I'm a grown man, like as long as I'm taking care of what I need to take care of, everything else is it just kind of falls into place.
So, I know you said initially you would take, quite a while to write a song, maybe like up to a month, but then you were able to get that down like after releasing Famous. So, what happened that meant you were able to become much quicker at writing songs to the point where you could write a song in one session?
I one of the main things that changed that was I stopped writing like physically, and then I just started writing as in like I'll do line in my head, next line, kind of like what Jay-Z does. Like, you know, he does like, he don't write, but he'll just think next line. So at the beginning, I used to think, oh my God, when I was younger, like, this sounds so amazing. He's not even writing in his head. When really, I'll be honest with you, is now where I'm at, I find it more difficult to actually write than the other way around. Because the reason why it's quicker is if I'm writing physically, let's say I don't like that line anymore, I would have to cross it out physically and replace it with another line. And that crossing out used to a bit knock me sometimes. It'd be like, oh yeah, I'm crossing out because it's whack. When really I'm crossing out because this one's better. Do you know what I mean? So whereas when I started doing it, let's say I'm writing a 4-bar, okay, I got the first 2 bars, that's hard. I got the next bar, that's sick. Oh, I don't like that bar anymore. I can just edit out in my head much easier. You know what I mean? It's more seamless. Whereas before when I'm writing, it's just kind of like, oh, I don't like how that goes there. Or if I even want to edit just one word or how I say this word, it's easier to do that, picture that in my head. And I'm a very visual learner anyway, like in school and stuff like that. So when I'm writing things, I can see it in my head. When I'm memorizing phone numbers, when I'm memorizing anything, like I have to picture it in my head in like a detailed way. So now, even a lot of the music songs that are out, the songs that I put out when I do shows, a lot of them I've never wrote down physically, so it's just from the back of my head. So, and I have a terrible memory, by the way. So this doesn't say a lot about my memory. It just means how my brain works creatively on what I prefer to write. Different people write in different ways. For me, this is just the fastest way that I could do it. So it cut out that crossing out, which was killing a lot of time, because then I'll be like, maybe the whole idea is rubbish, when really sometimes it's just that one word needs changing, or that one way, the way you say that word needs changing. And once I realized that, it just made everything way more faster. So yeah, I'd say that my writing style changed. And yeah.
So in 2019, you released your EP, Oke's Odyssey, which I really rated, by the way. So big at yourself for that.
Love for that, man.
So my favorite track was between Highlight and Come Alive, but I'm also a big fan of Demon Cycle.
Okay.
Now, I know you said in an interview that your favorite track does change. So what would you say your favorite track is right now?
It would be Oke's Theme and Demon Cycle, I'd say. But then Come Alive can be up there. To be honest, I'm just here again. It could be anyone. But I'd say no. If I'm going to give you a definitive answer, I'll probably say Oke's Theme, because that one is just one I just love performing. Yeah. When I had my headline show in the end of 2019, so November, and when I performed it there, I think it was the first song I came out to. That was just sick. People knew the words. It's easy. It's an easy sing along. Like it's almost made for shows. And yeah, it's just like my theme song. It makes me feel confident. It's what it does for me personally is sick. But then the reason why I say Demon Cycle is just from what it does for other people, I feel like it's sick. I love that for how people responded to it and how people took it in.
Yeah.
But from a personal standpoint, I'll go Oke's Theme. But for just what it done for people listening, I'd say Demon Cycle.
My demons come in cycles, so I shake them like a Michael. My demons come in cycles, so I shake them like a Michael. My demons come in cycles, so I shake them like a Michael. My demons come in cycles, so I shake them like a Michael. Yeah, pussy motherfucker, you can never be my rival. I just dropped the show to keep it moving like I'm Lionel. And my demons come in cycles, so I shake them like a Michael. Demons come in cycles, so I shake them like a Michael. Yeah, catch me on the night bus, they don't make them like us. Skinny jeans doing Billie Jean, the city light up. Yeah, whoa, why you never home? You been running out your house when they call you on your phone. You been running to the plug just to get inside the club. Ay, running up the drugs just to feel another buzz. You been running from your problems like the man that popping bottles. Cause thinking about tomorrow is like trying to win the lotto. And I got problems, man, it's peak. These days I just find it hard to speak, and I've been dealing with my problems as a man. Yeah, saying nothing, going hard and going ham, and I've been dealing with some problems, man, it's peak. Yeah, and these days I just find it hard to speak. So fuck what they say, man, here's what you do. Look, come and catch the groove, just know I'm going through it too. That's why my demons come in cycles, so I shake them like
I really enjoyed the story about how that song came about when you were at that motive, and then you kind of got the hook in your head, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you was just kind of itching to go home once you'd thought of it because you wanted to go and finish the song. That was sick, man.
yeah, yeah. No, rest in peace to Ace Hotel, because it was Ace Hotel that was the motive in Shoreditch, where I was like, "Ah, I need to go home, finish this off." So yeah, they closed it down now because of COVID. So
Oh
just
man.
have to, yeah, man.
So is that often how ideas come to you? Can you just be out somewhere and you'll just get the idea, or are you? It just a lot of the time is it you kind of actually having a writing session and trying to think of the ideas?
Again, I think it varies sometimes. So sometimes I could have an idea that I started at home, then when I'm on out and about, it will build. Like sometimes I could have headphones in, I just listen to the instrument on the train, and it will build from there. Sometimes it sparks outside, like that Demon Cycle one. It sparked outside, and I was like, okay, cool. If I can bottle this and get home and finish it off, I'm gonna finish this ASAP. So it varies. Sometimes I start it and then it builds outside. Sometimes it starts outside and then I build it back um, back at home. But the one I prefer the most is probably that one, like the Demon Cycle scenario, where something just comes to me and it hits me and I can't explain it. It's like I just need to go home and I need to just get this out. So yeah, though I prefer it that way. But sometimes, like today, straight after we finished recording this, like I want to do some writing, but sometimes when you just sit and write, like it doesn't come to you, and that's okay. Like I'll find other ways to get it out.
So what might that be?
I love like just kind of like mumble freestyle, like as in like I'll just listen to something and I'll just mumble my whole way through it until I find melodies. Like let's say if I can't find the words, I'll find the melodies, which is that's a whole another side. Like words and writing melodies for me is two different languages. So if I can't write words, then I'll usually write melodies, which is usually how I prefer starting anyway. But sometimes the words come first. But yeah, so let's say I can't, nothing's coming out. I'm not saying anything. What am I talking about? I'll be like, okay, cool. Let me hum. Let me find other little pockets, or even if it's not like a melody, it would be like, okay, let me find a cadence. Let me find something. So those are usually fun as well. So yeah, I always find something, and if that is not working either, I'll just go old school and I'll just write how I'm feeling, like just like words, no rhymes, anything. I'll just write, and then usually that would always find its way into something. A song or something like off OK's Odyssey, Baba I'm Sad. That was just like words in the notepad, I think, and then eventually it turned into a song. So yeah, you can always find. I don't believe in writer's block. Like let's put it like that.
Hmm. And what did you want people to take from the EP?
Two things. I wanted people like just from on the surface level when you go into it. I just want you to feel like confident. I want you to feel gassed. Like I want you to feel like yeah, like I can take on the day. Like you're feeling good about yourself. Like you know what I mean. It's got the energy. It's like infectious. But at the same time, it's on a kind of like underneath the surface. I want people to look within themselves. I want people to like yeah, just be more introspective. Like with the same way that the journey was for me is the same way that it's a soundtrack for you to do that same journey for yourself, where you're outside, you're enjoying everything that the world has to offer you, but as soon as you come inside with your own thoughts and yourself, um, that's the conversation that everybody needs to have with themselves. So the same way that I had it with myself, I would like for people listening that are digging beneath the surface to do the same thing. um, so yeah, those are the two things. But again, on the surface level, just enjoy yourself, have fun, like yeah, feel confident, feel yourself, like yeah, man. Okay, Steam, like that kind of vibe. So those are the two things I'd say.
So how did the project do against your expectations?
That's a good question actually, because I'd say it did well and it didn't do well, both. Because initially going into it, I don't know, but this is from an artist standpoint anyway. You go into it thinking, oh yeah, this is gonna be life changing, blah, blah blah, which for the most part, most of the times it won't be. Like, and that's part of the graph, that's part of the come up, that's part of the grind. Is you don't know which song is gonna be this, or which tape is gonna be the one that's life changing, or is gonna make impact like that. So because it didn't hit like that initially, I was really like taken aback. I was like, ah, I thought it was gonna do this, but it didn't. Then eventually when it kind of put in perspective, like when it came around and I did the show, I said this kind of jumped over my expectations almost, because this is like my first ever show, sold out. It's people know the words. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. People came and they know the words. They're singing it out loud. I was like, this is what you wanted from a tape. I feel like Numbers is kind of like a skewed um, like system, because even, for example, my biggest stream song is Mood, but at the show that didn't go off the hardest. Like you would think like the song that streamed the most would go off the hardest, but it didn't. And it was like songs like Come Alive, like OK Steam, like these ones are the ones that did really, really well. And you think, oh, but numbers wise, no, 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 no. So that's when it kind of put that back into perspective. So I'd say initially it didn't meet my expectations, but eventually it it exceeded my expectations, I'd say, and it set that foundation sonically for like what kind of artist I am. So yeah.
So did that sort of change your approach for when it came to looking at numbers when it came to your music?
Yeah, because again, I've done shows before, but then those are not my shows. It'd be like either showcases, or I'm being booked here to do this for this person, or I'm doing this at an event or something like that. So that's different. That's not your actual core listeners or anything like that. So I would assume I just perform what I perform, like the songs that I want to perform. Whereas at your show, you're kind of catering to your listeners and the people that support you. So I assume that the songs that stream better are the ones that people are listening to more, um, and are the ones that. But it's not like the people that songs that people want to hear, the people want to say out loud are are the songs that I want to hear and I want to say out loud. Like OK Steam, I was like, I have a feeling this will go off. Like when I made it, and it did. Like, or like My Ride, when I was coming up with the hook, I was like, this would be sick if people sang along with it, and people sang along with it. So it's again like moving forward, I just kind of think of it like, yeah, it just put things in perspective. If as long as the music is quality and is really good, it will translate into shows, which I feel like is that's the only measurement of success is tickets, people coming out. If because you can press play on anything. Like me and you can, there could be a song that you hate, but you might be curious and you click on it. That's a stream. Do you know what I'm saying? That's completely different to somebody buying a ticket and coming out to see you, or somebody listening to it over and over and dissecting the bars. And that's to me is more success. Like when people DM me and say, "Oh, yo, man, this song did X, Y, and Z." That's so it's hard, but that's kind of how I view success is changing always. And yeah, day to day, bro, like self doubt, it can always vary. But for the most part, consistently, I'd say my relationship with numbers is kind of like it's a it's a fickle one.
Yeah, I hear that. I do, because it's like even with this, like I've released the first few episodes, first couple of episodes not long ago, and it's like, yeah, I want to look at the numbers, but I don't want to be too fixated on them either. So it's like sometimes I'll make an effort not to see how much the play, the downloads has gone up, just because I don't want to be too focused on that. I guess the most important thing is making content, and then everything else would come with it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And I feel like consistency. The main one is, even if you feel like the number, oh yeah, man, people are not checking. I'm making this, and people is, as long as you are consistent, like the content that you're putting out is bam, 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 bam. It's good, 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 good. Eventually, if even if it takes that one person just to come across a random, like they could come across this one, and they're like, I really like this conversation. That's it. You've got them just because it's quality, just because it's that. You know what I mean? And if you consistently do that, oh, you've got them for life. And that's just my mentality. Is the one thing that we can control is consistency. So as long as me and you both stay consistent, eventually I feel like numbers will always come around.
Preach. So with the EP, how did the creative process differ, if at all, from when you made the spoken word album?
I'd say the spoken one was probably harder to make, if anything, because that one was like, yeah, I think that one was tricky, I'd say, because I think I had the words first, and then we had to find the music. Whereas for OK's Odyssey was, while he was making the music, I was finding the words, so we're doing it at the same time. And then OK's Odyssey, I feel like I got more in my producer bag, like not producing physically, but producing in terms of arrangements and sounds, and picking what goes where and things like that. So yeah, it was like OK Steve, for example, I pretty much had the whole song done by the time Richie finished was just doing the keys. Do you know what I mean? Like just the keys and the drums. Come Alive, same thing, I think. Demon Cycle, same thing. It was like very bare when I'm putting the words together, and then eventually we added everything else. So I feel like that was just a more fun experience. Okay's Odyssey, where the spoken word joint was more like, okay, I've got the words now. I just need the best sounding thing. Like, can you help me? It was more I had to give power to somebody else, like the producers that were doing it, and hope for the best. Whereas Richie with Okay's Odyssey, I had more control, which I liked. And from Richie's side was sick as well, because he kind of like, he knew exactly what I wanted, and we did it like that.
Nice. So, your latest single, Signs, you directed the video. The tune itself is sick, by the way.
Love, man.
In person, plus I like your carefree steeds. Take a trip, imagination, conversation, getting deep. Baby, jump on my spaceship. Blue dream rotation. Like we living in the Matrix. That cheap vacation. Playing 21 questions. And it's getting too deep. And we smoking on the so it's getting kinda peak. So I said, if the rain stopped and if everything is dry, would you cry just so I can drink the tears from your eyes? She said, look, if a rocket hit us and this house it caught ablaze, would you put me on your back and jump out window, save the day? I said, bitch, I might do it. Getting lost in the music. These times are looking bad as fuck. I think I'm mad enough to tell you I've been hit by Cupid. We've been smoking on the shisha, running through the trees, hit notes like Alicia. Doing Swiss speed, swiftly, quickly, type to make you miss me. Then I play with your hair while you sleep. Please, 7:45, the sun it, wake me, hit my eyes, see you sleeping in my shirt while people wake and go to work. Then I think about yesterday, I play it in reverse. Then I think, you know,
But the video, you directed that. How did that come about? Is directing something that you've long had an interest in? Talk to me about that.
This is random, but at the top of last year on my like goals for 2020, this is again pre-COVID. We didn't know COVID was coming. I was like, yeah, I want to direct. I was like, that's just something I want to do. That, and I wanted to do, I wanted to direct, act, and try voice acting. And by the end of the year, I did all three. I did actually try all things. Yeah, but the main one was directing. I wanted to do. And I feel like, yeah, I could do this. At the top of the year, I wasn't that confident with it. So then when lockdown came around, I just had this thing where I downloaded this app called Letterboxd, where you can just, it's kind of like you save all the films that you watch. Sometimes I watch a film and I completely forget. So you save all the films that you watch and you can leave a comment by it, like, or a note or whatever of about the film. So during the first lockdown, I literally ran through so many films, like, and I was just binging directors. Like, I'll go like watch every Stanley Kubrick film made. I'll watch this. I'll watch Satoshi Kon, like this Japanese anime filmmaker. I'll just like randomly just watch sick, really, really sick directors and how they dominate their medium. So then by the time we were able to go outside, I was just so charged up. I remember that summer I was supercharged. And then Signs came about. I already had that in the stash from a little while before, but I was like, when I made it, I could see so much. But then I was like, yeah, I'm going to give it to a director and he's going to do this. But after I came out of lockdown, I was like, fuck a director, I'm going to do this. Like, so it was sick. Like, I proper storyboarded it up. Like, I'm trying to see if the book's nearby. I think it's downstairs. But I had like a notebook, I proper storyboarded it up, like to the T. Like, you could see like shot for shot from the storybook and the drawings into the actual thing. So it was good. Again, it didn't, obviously with everything, it doesn't go completely to plan, as in like there's certain things that I would have wanted included that didn't make it. But in the end, it still came out really, really good and people enjoyed it as just like as a visual. So that is something I think I'll carry on doing. If not like co-directing, like if someone else directing, I'd be hands-on with it. So the same way that Okay's Odyssey, when I had a little bit more control and could express exactly what I wanted, it was more enjoyable. That's the same as videos now. Now that I have the language for it, I feel like moving forward with videos is going to be fun because I know exactly what I want and it's going to be like making music.
You're listening to the Get to Know podcast.
So, what was your favourite film that you watched during lockdown last year?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, it'd be between two. It would be actually no, I'll give you the one. Perfect Blue. Perfect Blue is this film. It's an anime film, but it's when I tell people anime film, they think, oh, an anime. Am I gonna be watching episodes? No. Like it's just a film. If you just go into it like a film, and this guy, the director, he did another film, Paprika, which is another one of my favorite ones I watched during lockdown, and that inspired Inception, like the film Inception. So he's really good, like sick ideas, and this film itself was just like, I was like, raw, like he's just pushing the medium on a mad one, and it's anime, it's like film, but it's like still, yeah, it was so good. So that one there, I'd probably say is my number one. That just kind of blew me away. But there was so many. There was so many. Yeah, but that's my number one, I'd say. And if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it.
Cool. So, how did you find the acting and the voice acting?
Yeah, like in school, I did like GCSE drama. So, and I feel like that was the first kind of thing that kind of got me out of my shell. Before I was a bit introverted. That was the first time like I could be like out there, like in secondary school. So yeah, that was kind of tapping back into that, and I feel like it's a little bit like riding a bike. I'd say is once I remember that part of my brain, okay, now I can go back into that, and I feel like it's something. The more I practice, the better I'll get at it. So I did like some auditions for a few different things, like, and it went well. Like some of it went well. One really good thing came about it, but in the end, like I decided not to do it just for personal reasons. But yeah, it just let me know, like just from the feedback from some of the directors and things like that, it just let me know, like, oh yeah, I can actually, this is something that I could pursue, this is something that I could do well. And voice acting was really fun as well, because that was easy. I didn't think it'd be that easy, but it was really easy compared to actual acting. That one is just your voice, and I feel like I command my voice anyway via music. So yeah, that was just that one was, I thought it would be way harder than it was, but it wasn't. So that's something I could see myself dipping into as well. So it's just like, yeah, just putting myself out there again. Like after the first lockdown, I was so charged up with just energy that I just wanted to do as many things as possible, and I want to carry that over to 2021.
Nice. So, as we discussed earlier, I know you're passionate about writing and you see yourself as a writer first and foremost. So, have you been writing anything other than music of late?
No, but you have just reminded me, because this weekend I think I'm gonna put some time aside and just write. Like I want to definitely before, like yeah, like when I get to my 30s, definitely I want to transition into writing books. Like that would be like, even it could be simultaneously with music. Like as long as I definitely want to have two books minimum, like in this lifetime. Like inshallah, like that's something that's a goal of mine. And yeah, so I'm slowly, like it's more like it's a bit more fragmented how I'm writing towards these things. It's just like a bunch of ideas and a bunch of anecdotes that are working towards something. But eventually I feel like if I can get someone to sit down with that can help me piece everything together, would be really sick in following that through. But yeah, even like screenplays, like I could see myself going into that. Like yeah, there's so much things, but again, it's I feel like if I can, music is the one that's gonna open the doors to the rest. So that's the one that's I feel like is my strongest suit right now, and if it can allow me to get into other rooms and do other things, then yeah, that'll be beautiful. But for now, it's just music and possibly acting, I'd say.
What's your favourite thing to write other than music?
I'd say just like fiction. Either fiction or even if it's not fiction, it would be like anecdotal writing, like stories. It'd be like stories. I don't want to say like autobiography, because it's not. Just like life stories, just like, but told in a way that's interesting, that's intriguing, that's like, you know what I mean, thought-provoking. Like, so yeah, either fiction, like completely like not real, just like take you somewhere else, kind of like. But my music already satisfies that, I'd say, like because it's a lot of it is kind of like teleporting you somewhere else. But as well, my music kind of does the anecdotal like, you know what I'm saying, where it's like real life. These are real life stories. So it would be almost like an extension of my music. I would want to write a book that's completely fiction, and I would want to write a book that's like it's non-fiction. It's like real life stories. So both sides intrigue me. But I'd say that's the main thing I do outside of music. And I would eventually like to start practicing doing screenplays.
Do you have a favorite book?
No, that's and they used to hate me in uni. So when you say to me, and I'm like, no, because I don't know if it's my favorite book or if it's the one that my attention span could last through. Do you know what I mean? As in, like, and I used to feel like that with films as well for a while, up until just very recently. It was like, do I have a favorite film, or do I have a film that just caught my attention to the point where I saw it to the end? Do you know what I mean? My attention span is terrible. So I feel like I can't say, even with films, if you ask me what my favorite film is, I couldn't tell you, because I don't feel like I've seen enough to say this is my favorite. Whereas music, I've listened to enough music where I can say, out of all of this, these are my favorite artists, or these are my favorite albums. I don't think I've read enough, or I'm well read enough. Despite going to uni, despite doing English at uni, I don't feel like I can be like, yeah, this is my favorite. But there's been a lot of books that I've liked. Like I loved reading. Specifically, again, it would be like in uni. There's books that I like. There's books that I like growing up for leisure. But again, I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't want to say a favorite. And same with film. Those are the two things that I'm like, yeah, you don't know. You haven't watched enough. You haven't read enough to pick those. Yeah. But music, we can talk all day. We can talk all day, baby.
Yeah, I was going to ask actually, but this is the perfect time. So who would you say are your top 5 favorites? I was going to say rappers, but I'll just broaden it out to artists.
Okay, cool. That's so I'll go with Frank Ocean, Kendrick, and I'm gonna try and keep it to within like my music generation of like what I grew up, like not before me, because obviously there's people I admire that came out even before I was born, I'd say, but I'll just try and keep it to within my lifetime. So Kendrick, Frank, I'll go with Kanye West. Number 4, I go with I'll put them together again because I hate when people separate them too much, but Outkast as a duo. And then my number 5, I'd say I'll go Jay-Z as just somebody that's just prolific in what he does.
Sick. And where did you go uni, by the way?
I went to University of Greenwich, but I moved out. When I moved out, I lived in Bow. Like I lived with some of my uni friends that went to different unis. We all lived together in Bow, so that was quite cool as well.
Yeah, I bet. So, what does success look like for you?
That's a good question, because I feel like for me it would be not complete freedom, because I feel like in this lifetime that doesn't exist completely, but I would like some sort of freedom. By freedom I mean flexibility in my life, where I can choose to do different things that I feel to do. So if I want to do this today, I can do this today. If I want to do this, I'm somebody that I hate to be boxed into, hate to feel like I'm trapped or contained, or like even in my actual job now, like I can't be micromanaged, and I'm grateful that I'm not, but I can't be in a position where somebody's over my shoulder, or whether, you know what I mean? I feel like some sort of freedom is success to me, like in any regards, and that doesn't it's not connected to money, but money, as you know, it can open the doors to different things. So but it's more connected to I feel like opportunities. And so if I can be in a position where I have the opportunity to do a range of different things, whether it's writing, whether it's how many doors I can be in at the same time, I feel like that's what success is to me personally. And again, that varies from person to person, but to me, it's if I can be in as many different rooms and doors as possible that I want to be in, that's success to me. So yeah, and that's what I'm striving towards, is just trying to stimulate every different bit of me, which I feel like all of them deserve their fair shot. So whether it's music right now, whether it's writing, whether it's everything, yeah, all of them deserve their own. I get all my kids, all my ideas on my kids, and all of them deserve, you know what I'm saying, a bit of limelight and a bit of and being shared with the world. So that's success to me. If I can share these ideas that brew inside of me with different people, and I'm allowed to, because again, you know, life is life. So whether you're allowed to or not, this is different. So if I can allow myself to be in those positions, that would be beautiful. And I feel like success to me. And even me saying this out loud is nice because it's just a cool reminder too. So appreciate you asking that.
Love, man. So why do you think that complete freedom isn't attainable?
Because I feel like I'm not super religious, but I'm still, at the end of the day, I'm a Muslim. I believe in God. I believe in Allah. Like, I feel like this world here is like nothing in this world like truly satisfying. You know what I'm saying? So and at the end of the day, whether what freedom looks like to anybody it changes as well. Same, it's a bit like success. Like complete freedom to me might not be complete freedom to you. Do you know what I mean? But to me, what I view as complete freedom is not in this world. Like, do you know what I mean? So that's just the wrong reason why I say that. And the fact that nothing is truly, even if you get what you think is complete freedom, and you get there and you're like, oh shit, I finally got this, it's still not. Do you know what I mean? You could be, me personally, I feel like I could be a billionaire and I still won't be 100% satisfied in that regard. So, and billionaire you can buy freedom with £1 billion. You know what I'm saying? But
with $1 billion, pretty much,
to me personally, yeah. But to me personally, I feel like it still won't give me that satisfaction of what I feel true freedom is, and that's like, that's no worries. You ain't stressing, you good, and this world is, for me, is not it hasn't got everything that we need. And I feel like, again, that just comes back to religion to me personally.
So I read that next up from you we have the Breathe It's Okay EP. Any news on when we can expect that?
That's actually a very good question, because I'd say I've moved that to the side for now. And again, that's just because we did not expect to be in a pandemic in 2020, and I felt like it was really, really good. I even say, again, it varies for people. Of course, people have lost lives, and there's a lot of terrible things that happened because of COVID. But for me, it just shifted my thinking so much. Like, in terms of nothing is guaranteed. Like, you can plan all day long, but like God, at the end of the day, he's the end all be all. You know what I'm saying? What he says goes. So it was like I was going into it thinking, I'm making this kind of music, I want to come out like this. And by the time I came out of the other side of the first lockdown, I was like, and how charged up I felt, I said, I feel like I'm kind of limiting myself in terms of what that EP was going to sound like. It would have been good, it would have been sonically and like even like lyrically, it would have been good. But in terms of just how high, going back to what I was saying about Signs and Famous earlier, is just that feeling. I wanted that feeling when I make music. I want it to be so like you did that, like, you know what I mean, like only you could do that. I want that, like when I make something, just in general. So after that, when I was making that EP, it was good, but I was like, there's other people that could do this really well as well. Whereas something like Signs, something like Famous, I feel like only me personally, only I could do that. Like no one else. That's what I can offer. That's what's unique to me. So that's just more what I focused on. So now it's, if anything, this is the next project that I'm coming up with and currently making now is an extension of Oke's Odyssey 2, and that sound and that world that I've already established. So which I feel like is me. That's what I sound like. Do you know what I mean?
Sick, bro. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, love. I'll let you know as soon as that's coming out. But Signs will most likely be of this next project too. This is the prelude to the project.
Okay, sweet. Alright, so we're going to move on to the trivia section.
Okay.
For you, what I've decided, I thought I'd use artists that influenced you. So I read Kanye West, Pharrell, and Odd Future, so those are the ones that it's based on.
Okay.
All right, so first question. What is Kanye West's best-selling album? Is it A, College Dropout, B, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, or C, Watch the Throne?
It's not graduation. I would have said graduation. You know? But
Graduation
if
was
that's
second.
the case, if that's only huh?
Graduation was second.
Graduation was second.
Yeah.
Okay. If that's the case, then I don't think Watch the Throne sell like that. Okay, I'm gonna go. This might be a cheeky shout. I don't think Watch the Throne sold more than College Dropout. I'll go My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
It was actually
No, but I don't think that's the right answer.
it was College Dropout.
Was it College Dropout?
Yeah.
I knew it. Just off like old residual kind of like. That's what I was thinking. I was like, nah, but that album still streams really well. Yeah, go on.
All right, next question. How many solo albums has Pharrell Williams released? Is it 1, 2, or 3?
That's cheeky because I'm gonna say one because one was with the Neptunes. It was the Neptunes Presents, and then one is just Pharrell, I think. And yeah, the rest is the NERD stuff. So I'm gonna go one. Oh, it could be two, but no. Actually, I just tell a lie. What about the one with Happy? Oh yeah, no, two. Forgot about that. I forget about Top Hat Pharrell. So yeah, I'll go Happy. No, I'm gonna go two. So he had that in my mind. The one with Happy. No, then he had another one actually. No. Just those two. It was just those two.
Yeah.
Two. I'm going two.
Right. Yeah, you saved yourself at the end. It was actually 2.
Okay, cool. Because I didn't listen to that one heavy. It's the one with Happy. It's the one with. I'm trying to think what other songs on that was there. I can't remember. But yeah.
All right, next question. In which city did Odd Future originate? Is it A, LA, B, New York, or C, San Diego?
It's LA. I know it's California, but we'll go LA.
That is correct. It was LA. All right, next question. Pharrell Williams and Robin Thicke's song Blurred Lines led them to being successfully sued for copying a song made by which deceased artist?
Marvin Gaye.
Oh, he smashed it.
Yeah, I know that.
It was Marvin Gaye. All right. Finally, how many Grammy Awards has Kanye West won? Is it A, 18, B, 21, or C, 23?
Does he have more or less than Jay-Z? I know Jay-Z got 21 because he made a bar by it. 23 or 18. I want to say. I think I might go 23. You know, he might have more, but just
Yeah.
as a producer as well. Yeah, go on 23. Let's go.
It was actually 21, same amount as Jay-Z.
Oh, okay. Oh, mad.
Yeah.
Okay. Sick.
All right, man. 3 out of 5. Very respectable.
Yeah, the College Dropout one. I'd say that's a cheat code. Yeah. But that makes sense. 100%.
Yeah. All right, man. So, just before we go, obviously, end of last year, we would have had the Spotify Wrapped, Apple Music replay. So, who was most played artists?
Drake is always in and around my top 5
Same.
because he just has the catalog of music that he has is too strong, like, and it's different moods or whatever. But I'd say my number one is I can give you the 5, but I can't remember the order.
Yeah, sure.
It's Drake, Sir, Knowledge, K Tronada, and what was number 5? It might have been Frank Ocean. Yeah, that's probably the 5. Yeah. So it's only one rapper, Drake the only rapper. But then obviously the actual Wrapped playlist is full of rap music. But those artists are the artists I'd say were the top 5 for me for 2020.
Yo, K Tronada's album was sick, man, from last year. I really rated that.
Yeah, I love that album. Heavy. And we weren't going outside, so I felt like last year it was a lot of like just playing speakers in my room. before 2020, I never used to really blast music like at home. Like music for me was something like I listen to in a party or out when I'm doing something or in my friend's car. Do you know what I mean? Or like headphones.
Yeah.
So it was sick. It was sick. Like, and that album I banged heavy. Sir's Chasing Summer from the year before, I rinsed throughout. What Drake album? Drake, what did he release? The tapes, the Dark Lane tapes.
Yeah.
But it was really all his catalog. It was really all his catalog that I streamed. And then Frank is probably just Channel Orange. Yeah. And then Knowledge was the 1988 album. It's just an instrumental album, but that one is just like the soundtrack to the pandemic for me. If that's what the pandemic sounds like when I look back now. So yeah.
All right, man. Now, just want to tell the listeners where they can find you.
Yeah. If you want to stream my music, you can find it on all streaming platforms. It's Dualeh Oke, Dualehoke. And yeah, you can find my latest video as well, which is directed by me on YouTube. Signs. And yeah, that's my latest single too. So make sure you stream that. And if you just want to kind of get familiar with my sound and me as a person, the project you should check out is Oke's Odyssey. Yeah, once you finish it, you kind of, I feel like, have a good grasp of who I am as an artist and sonically as well. So yeah.
All right, nice one. Any closing words?
No, I'd just say this was a pleasure, man. This was a really good conversation. I feel like it's always nice when somebody does their research and is interested and is passionate about your music as much as I am. So it always makes for good conversation, and I'll be looking forward to listening to this back, same way that everyone else will be listening to it. So yeah.
Respect, bro. Appreciate that, man. Honestly, thanks a lot for coming on, man. Like I said, as soon as I saw you, I knew I wanted to have you on. So thanks for agreeing to come on, and yeah, great conversation. I've really enjoyed it.
Nah, appreciate it, man.
All right, respect, man.
All right, easy.
You're listening to the Get to Know podcast.
Okay, so that was Dualeh Oke. Shout out to Dualeh, man. I really enjoyed that. Proper sick guest, good vibes, good music. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to hearing more from him. I'll tell you what's interesting. I've started to notice like similarities between guests. So he was saying he was heavily influenced by Frank Ocean. And that was what Iman Lake said in the first episode, like his writing style. And then last week, Sean said that his idea of success was him being able to just take time away from the business and it runs fine without him being there, which is exactly what Zolly said in episode 4. But yeah, man, I was glad to meet someone who had the same love for Nostalgia Ultra as me. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there, but yeah, man, that's legit one of my favorite mixtapes ever. Top 3. Yeah, I'd say the other 2, The Weeknd, House of Balloons, and ASAP Rocky, Live Love ASAP. 3 banging mixtapes. All from the same year as well. 10 years ago this year. Damn. But yeah, man, shout out Dualeh Oke. Be sure to check out his music if you like what you've heard today. Yeah, man. But let me recommend a TV show for you before I go. And this one is called The Morning Show. You may have seen billboards for it, probably not recently, but when it first came out. You can find this on Apple TV. So basically, star-studded cast. And so you've got Jennifer Aniston and Steve Carell. Now these two play like the hosts of like a big morning TV show in America. So basically like GMTV or Good Morning Britain, but the American version. Really big show. And Steve Carell's character, he is basically like the dad for America, but he gets caught up in like a Me Too type scandal. So it's like he's being accused of numerous accounts of sexual misconduct with like colleagues, and so he gets sacked from his job. So it kind of just follows the aftermath. So like them, the station trying to replace him, and then Steve Carell's character, he's trying to like rebuild his life again after that. He's trying to get to tell his story and basically just not have his life ruined. Also Reese Witherspoon's in it, so she plays like a fiery journalist. So it's it's a really good show, man. I was pretty gripped. So there are 10 episodes. Each episode is about an hour long, and like I said, it's on Apple TV. Yeah, man, check that out. But yeah, man, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Big love as always for tuning in. Honestly, it means a lot that you're coming back each week, or even if this is the first time. But yeah, man, shout outs to you. Make sure you're following the socials. Instagram, Get To Know Podcast _. Twitter, Get To Know Pod. Honestly, my Twitter followers needs to shoot up, bruv. Like, yeah, man. But if you're on for Twitter, follow man up. YouTube, the new channel's made. So yeah, man, just make sure you're following. Much appreciated. Shout out Larry David. Shout out Jurgen Klopp. And big up man like Rafe. Soon touch road. Safe.